Okay, this is question 15. And question 15 asked us to write a subroutine that returns the or finds the index of the largest value in a supplied list. Let's just describe what we mean there. What do we mean by the index? Well, let's go back to this example that we had before, where our list was, just get rid of all these nasty circles and writing here. Just go back to it. So our list was 1, 7, 13, 2, and 9, if you remember. And we can quite clearly see that the largest value in that list is the 13. And what do we mean by the index? Well, you remember that these are indexed starting at 0 here. So this is the index 0, this 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the value of the largest index is this 2. So we want to return this value 2 here. Okay, so it's going to be a very similar task to finding what the value of the largest number is, but instead of returning the value itself, we're going to return the index of that value. Let's go back to our code. It's going to be very, very similar to this. So I'm going to take a copy of that and the test code, paste that down here. But instead of calling it get largest value in list, I'm going to sort get largest index in list. Go through the same process before. If you didn't understand the previous video, then this is going to be equally difficult. But anyway, instead of specifying what the largest value is, I want to specify what the largest index is. So let's not call it largest value, but let's call it largest index. So I'm going to change the name of this local variable to being largest index. And to do that, I can right click, say refactor, rename, and it's sort of a nice cheat here. Notice it changes all of them all at once. So largest index. It's a nice way of renaming a variable rather than having to change it here and here and here and here. Now, so what do I want to do? Right. Well, the problem here is the element gets the content of the list. I don't want that. I want an index. So I need a counter in my for loop that counts the index. So instead of my for element in a list, I'm going to have for index in range, the length of the list. Okay, so this is going to go from 0 up to the length of the list. So if the list had 20 elements in it, this would go from 0 to 19. Okay, I need a colon there. And rather than element, I'm going to call that what is the element? Well, the element is the actual content. So the element is equal to the content at that position. So this is going to be a list index. Okay, that's the value of the actual contents. And I'm going to test the value of the contents. If it's bigger than our largest value, so we still need our largest value here. So let's put that in largest value, and that's going to be minus infinity. And our largest index, right, our largest index, well, let's start off that at -1. I'll talk about that in a minute. And this needs to be math.inf. Okay. All right, so we're going to go through the list one at a time, and we're going to have a look at the actual content. Well, we could call this the content, if you like, or the element. If that's greater than the largest value, then we're going to specify our largest index to be not the element, but the index. Okay? So, go through this again. Come back to this in a second. We're going to specify our largest value in the list is minus infinity, just as we did up here. I'm going to go through each element in the list, and then I'm going to have a look at the contents, and I'm going to say, is the contents of this bigger than our current largest value? If it is, then I'm going to set my largest value, which I forgot to do last time, my largest value to be that element. I'm also going to set my largest index to be the index. Okay, And then at the end, after I've been through all of these, I'm going to return my largest index. Okay, so let's test this out. Your test list is this, and I print not the largest value in the list, but the largest index in the list. So we're expecting this to say 0, 1, 2, 3. This would be 3. Let's see. It is 3. So let's figure out what's going on here. Let's put a breakpoint there. Let's remove that breakpoint. Right click, step through, run, and it's going to stop here. So our largest index is -1. Now I'm using largest index as being -1, meaning we haven't found one yet, because we haven't started looking through these elements yet. So I'm going to set the largest index to be -1. And -1, yeah, is basically meaning not found yet. Our largest value becomes -infinity, as it did before. Now we're going to go through each element, get the value out. 1. Is 1 bigger than the largest value? Yes, it is. So we're going to set the largest value to be 1. We're going to set our largest index to be our current index, which is 0. Remember, 0, 1, 2. Okay, so our largest index is now 0. Then we're going to test our 7. Well, that 7 is bigger than our current largest value. So we're going to set our index to be 1. 13 is bigger again, so we're going to set our index to 2. 28 is bigger again, so set our index to 3. This time it isn't bigger, so it'll skip over that, finish the loop, and return our largest index, which is 4. So that's why it works. Okay, so let's just run that again. We get our value of, 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. That is correct. If I put 113 in here, then our largest index has got an index of 0, 1, 2. So we're expecting it to say 2. And it does. There we go. Quite a difficult task.